If you're planning on making a move to Leisure World in Seal Beach, California, this is the video for you. Today we're going to talk about where Leisure World is located, what type of homes are in Leisure World, what you need to qualify to move into Leisure World, how long the escrow period is, and some of the fees and costs associated with living in or moving into Leisure World. So stick around to the end. It's going to be a good one. All right, so Leisure World is located in Seal Beach, California. It's about 5 minutes from the beach, very close to the freeway, a lot of shopping around the area, within a 2-mile radius, like 3 or 4 different grocery stores that you can choose from, plenty of things to do, and it is a very active community. Old Town Seal Beach is a 5-minute drive from Leisure World, and there's a lot of clubs in Old Town. There's the Lions Club, which is the largest Lions Club in the United States. A lot of seniors are in the Lions Club and they volunteer for activities to help out the community. It is a very active Lions Club. There's also a lot of events, local events that happen in Old Town Seal Beach. They have the annual Christmas parade. They have Band on the Sand where they actually go out on the beach and they have bands come and play, which is really cool. They have concerts in the park down at Eisenhower Park, which is right by the pier. So every summer for 5 weeks, every Wednesday night, yes, I think it's Wednesday night, pretty sure. Every Wednesday night they have a band, so everybody gets out there with their lawn chairs and they set up and they watch the bands. They have all different genres. It's not crazy, like there's not a bunch of, young, crazy, out of control people going on down there. Real quick, if this is your first time on the channel, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be the first to know about the real estate market in Southern California. My name is Steve Batiz and I'm the broker owner of NextHome West Realty, and we get calls, emails, and texts every single day from people just like you looking to make their move into Southern California. So if that's you, don't be shy. Give me a call, send me a text, or shoot me an email. I'd love to help you make a smooth transition into the area. Seal Beach has a lot of seniors in the community. It's very quiet. As a matter of fact, the entire city of Seal Beach is right about 20,000 people. Leisure World has about 9,000. A good part of Seal Beach is comprised of the residents of Leisure World. So they also have 2 seats on the city council, and they have a really good representation with the city council. Leisure World is a gated community with controlled access at all 3 of the gates. They also have patrol that goes around Leisure World, so it's very safe, quiet community. There's about 6,600 units in Leisure World, so it's quite large, and it sits right across from the Naval Weapons Station, so very secure. A part of Leisure World backs up to the 405 freeway. Some of those units back there could get a little loud, but a lot of those units have newer windows on them, so it's not really that big of a problem. Leisure World has their own churches, they have a clinic, they have a bunch of different clubs, they have a woodwork shop, they have a lot of activity going on. They also have a small golf course, putting greens, you name it, pools. So it's a very, very active community. There's a lot of things to do if that's what you want to do. Leisure World also has bus services that takes the residents into town to the grocery store. There used to be one that took them out to Pachanga Casino out in Temecula area. I've heard that they stopped that. Not sure if they're going to bring it back, but this will kind of give you an idea of what they provide for the residents in the community. So Leisure World is a co-op, and it's part of the Golden Rain Foundation. Basically what a co-op is you own stock ownership in the organization. You don't own the actual unit, although you can sell the unit, and it's usually a good investment because your money stays pretty level. You're not going to get a huge increase on the sale of the property unless you stay there for a while. I've had residents buy in there and a year later sell and make $30,000, but that's not common. The whole reason people move into Leisure World is because they want to buy in and they know what their payment is for the rest of their lives. Leisure World is an all-cash community. There are a few buildings in there that are condominiums. So the condominiums you can get a mortgage on. The rest of Leisure World you have to pay cash, and there is a qualification process that's a little extensive, and we'll get into that in a minute. So like I said earlier, Leisure World is a 55 plus community, so you have to be 55 to buy. So if you're 55 and your wife's 45 or your husband's 45, you can buy in there, and they also have ownership in that unit. That's pretty much the only exception. You can have caregivers that come like stay with you in Leisure World if you need a caregiver. But if you have any other questions about like ownership or how to, how you're not really taking title, but how you have the certificates issued in your name and someone else's name, let me know, and I can handle that on a case-by-case basis. There are a bunch of mutuals in Leisure World, so each one has like slightly different rules on certain things. So if you have questions, just reach out to me. Now, to qualify in Leisure World, what you're going to need is you're going to need your 2 years of tax returns. You're going to need 6 months of your bank statements so that you can show that you A, have the money to buy, and B, there's another requirement in each mutual is different. It basically ranges from $25,000 over the purchase price. So let's say your purchase price is $400,000. You have to show at least $425,000 minimum. Some of the mutuals want $50,000. Then there's an income requirement for some of the mutuals as well. So some of the mutuals will allow for you, like let's say for instance, if you're moving into mutual 15 and you have $2 million in the bank, but you have zero income, they won't qualify you. I know it sounds weird. Some of the mutuals, if you have zero income but $2 million in the bank, you can get qualified. So what I'm going to do is I have a sheet that explains everything. I'm going to put this in the comments below, a link to it. Just go ahead and download it. I'm not going to ask you for your information or anything like that. If you want a copy of it, download it. Just keep in mind that these numbers do change. So we're doing this video in 2024, at the beginning of 2024. They just came out with the new requirements or the new fees this year. So by the time you download them, they could have changed. If you have questions, if you're 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, just reach out to me and I'll get you the most current numbers so that you can be more educated when you buy into Leisure World. One of the other things that you have to pay when you move into Leisure World is you have to buy into the Golden Rain Foundation. So the initial membership fee is currently $5,332 per person. So if you have 2 people going there, just double that number. If you have a unit in there and you want to rent the unit, the renter has to buy into the foundation. And the difference is that if they buy into the foundation, they pay $5,332. What the Golden Rain Foundation does is they prorate that membership over a 3-year period. So let's say they move out in a year, they'll give them the 2 year of the proration back. Check on that before you do it. There's not a lot of renters there, and that's probably the reason why. But before you decide to rent in there, make sure that they're still doing that. And I'm being very careful what to say in the video because just like any HOA, I don't like putting out the numbers on HOAs because the HOAs are always changing the rules here and there. To qualify to move into Leisure World, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to take the purchase price, let's say it's $400,000, times 1.1%, which is roughly what the property taxes are. That's going to get you to $4,400. Then you take $4,400 and you divide it by 12. That's going to be $366. Let's just round it up, $367 a month. Then you're going to add the HOA fee for the mutual that you're planning on buying in. So let's say the HOA fee is $400 a month. So $400 plus $367 is going to be $767 a month. That is your carrying cost. Some mutuals want 4 times the carrying cost. Some of them want 5 times the carrying cost. So let's say it's 4 times the carrying cost. So that's going to come to about $767 a month. Then they take that $767 a month and let's go $767 a month times 4. You're going to have an income of $3,066 a month. And you're going to have to show that. And what happens when you submit all your paperwork, it's going to go over to finance over at Leisure World, and they're going to basically give you the yay or nay on whether or not you can move in. Right now in Leisure World, the lowest HOA in any of the mutuals is going to be about $443 a month. And the most expensive is going to be about $545 a month. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these calculations. You're going to want to, again, let's go back over that. It's confusing. It took me a while to get the concept too. 1.1% times the purchase price. Divide that by 12. Then you're going to take that number and you're going to add it to the HOA for whichever mutual you're planning to buy in. Then you're going to multiply that by either 4, 4.5, or 5 times, depending on which mutual you move in. So it's pretty simple. You got to have a certain amount of money in the bank, and you're going to have to qualify with income, and you're going to have to show that. You're also going to have to prove that you're over 55, obviously. You're also going to have to prove that you are who you are. So they're either going to want, and again, it depends, and I have it on the sheet. They're going to want your birth certificate. They're going to want your driver's license. Some of them are going to want your passport and your driver's license. It really just depends. So take a look at the sheet. If you have any questions, let me know. Now, right now in Leisure World, there are units, and the difference in the prices in Leisure World basically are based on where they're located, how big the units are. The smallest unit's going to be about 660 some odd square feet, and they have units up to 1,300 square feet. Some of those units most of the larger units are going to be in a 2-story building. Most of the units in the 2-story buildings are about 1,200 square feet, but some of them are a little bit bigger. There are 1 bedroom, 1 bath. There's 2 bedroom, 2 baths, and there's also 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Some of the units are completely built out. They've redone the entire kitchen, put all new appliances, all new flooring, central air conditioning. Some of the units have none of that. They'll have Leisure World's standard appliances in them, which, they work. They're not top-end appliances, but they work. If you don't cook a lot, maybe that'll work for you. If you're looking at a unit and it's an end unit, those units are usually going to be more expensive because you're on the end, right? So think about that too. Do you need an end unit? Do you want people on both sides of you, or are you okay? Or do you want to live on the end unit, which a lot of people want to do that. So all the buildings have laundry facilities in the buildings, but some units actually have the washer and dryer built in. Now, the reason they don't all have it is because it basically takes up part of on the units that do have it, on the single-story units that do have it, it takes up part of the closet space and part of the pantry space in the kitchen. To add a washer and dryer, there's pretty much a standard fee, and right now it's about $12,000. And I say right now because if you're watching this 10 years from now, pretty much guarantee that it's going to be more than $12,000. And those washer and dryers are put in by contractors that have been approved through the Golden Rain Foundation. Which brings me to another subject. If you want to modify the unit, you're going to have to get approval through the Golden Rain Foundation, and you're going to have a contractor approved through the Golden Rain Foundation. There is a list of contractors. You might want to bring your own contractor in, but they're going to have to basically qualify to work in there. Will they do it? Will they charge you more if it's the first time? Probably. Just keep that in mind if you're looking to have work done. Some of the HOAs on the single-story units will allow you to build out from the unit. You'll see like patios on some of these units that are like really nice. Some of the units are like the higher end units. They're around 600,000. I've seen them in there 700, 750,000 units. You walk into them and it's amazing, right? If you don't want to hassle with having to do all the work, you might want to go a little higher on your budget. If you're okay with doing work, I always suggest buy the cheapest unit with the amount of square footage that you want, and then put your own work in. Just keep in mind that you're going to have to, get access through the Golden Rain Foundation to do that. And that can take time, and it could be a headache. So something to consider. Now let's talk about the escrow period in Leisure World. So for the escrow period usually takes about 45 days or less. So it's a longer escrow than most people are used to. Most escrows that we deal with outside of Leisure World are 30 days or less. I mean, we've even had them as short as 10 days. But inside of Leisure World, there's a process. So what they're going to do is once you get approved, so you first have to get approved, then you have to get an interview. So there's a process to actually, just like any co-op, to move into a co-op, you're gonna have to get an interview with the board. Those interviews could take longer because maybe the board members aren't available at the time. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking to move in there, it's gonna be a little bit longer of a process, and just get started as soon as you're ready to move. So just to sum it up, Leisure World's a great active community. There's a lot of people, you have to be 55 to get in, and it is all cash. Just keep that in mind. But once you get in there, people love living in there. There's plenty of things to do, lots of activities, very, very safe, and it's close to downtown Seal Beach. If you have any questions about the area, any questions about the process, just give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. All my information is in the comments below. Do not be afraid to call me. Love helping people out. Talk to you later, and we'll see you around town.